Little game we like to play called What Went Wrong. We're going to dive into the issues for losing teams on Sunday. First up, Chiefs lost to the Bills. The Bills were able to figure out that KC defense on Sunday. The Chiefs' 30 points allowed were the second most they've allowed over the last 3 seasons. And they had no sacks for the first time since 2021. They also couldn't get off the field on third down. They allowed the Bills to convert 60% of their chances. Dan the Man, Spags' defense has been carrying them all season long. So what went wrong?
The Bills anticipated Spags' go-to, cover zero, meaning all-out pressure, and they were ready for it, and then not to protect it, but to hurt it. Josh is going to point to the left. He sees Tranquil out there. He sends his offensive line out there, understanding here comes the blitz, okay? Now, as that offensive line goes all the way out to his left, Josh has to beat that internal pressure. Everybody's got a guy man-to-man. Coop at the bottom of the screen. They're not just trying to get the ball out of their hands. Cooper's going to double move them. They'll fake stutter in, and then Josh has to let the ball out of his hands early. That's trying to kill the blitz, not trying to protect against the blitz. 4 strong, meaning 4 people to Josh's right. Okay, as the motion goes, they're going to rock and roll, meaning the corner is essentially going to pass it to the safety. Still man-to-man coverage. That's an indicator. Remember, everybody on the defense has a man, and then everybody's pressuring. As Josh drops back and peeks the back, that guy is going to peel. Then he knows, okay, that defender peeling, I have to drift away from the blitzer, find the shallow cross as we create that traffic to Curtis Samuel. The reality is this, Joe Brady and the Bills anticipated everything that Steve Spagnuolo and the Chiefs would do, and that's the main reason why they won the football game.
Chiefs visiting the Panthers on Sunday. All right, let's get to the Bengals. A loss to the resurgent Chargers. Yet again, they just couldn't pull it out in a close one. Joe Burrow nearly led Cincinnati to a big second-half comeback, but lack of success at the beginning of the game, that was just too much to overcome. In the second half, he had 5 completions of at least 20 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and an average depth of target over 14. But in the first half, yikes. His passes averaged less than 6 yards downfield. He had no touchdowns. Hawk, what gives with these Bengals?
It pains me to say it, but the real Slim Shady stood up. That's what happens with the Bengals. They are the team that you're looking at, that their record shows. 1-6 in one-score games. When you have a game like this, where you needed to get this W, and you come out in the first half and you have no fight, it tells me who you are, and it makes everything look crystal clear in the light. Second half, they figured it out. They played better, but this team just isn't great. They look like a great team because of the way that Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase have been playing, but when you look at their wins, they beat the 2-8 Giants, the 2-8 Browns, the 3-7 Panthers, and the 2-8 Raiders. They're just not that team, and they showed it, and now we can kind of put to bed what this future will look like as it pertains to the 2024 season.
Yeah, and they host the Steelers on December 1st. All right, for the Falcons, it was a 38-6 beatdown by the Broncos on Sunday. Falcons struggled on both sides of the ball at Denver. 32-point loss, their largest in a game since they lost to the Cowboys by 40 back in 2021. They had their second worst defensive efficiency in a game over the last 3 seasons and their third worst yard margin. Graz, what went wrong for Atlanta?
Hannah, they were completely unable to make Bo Nix, the rookie quarterback for the Broncos, uncomfortable in any way. They came into this game, the Falcons did, very depleted at cornerback, and they lost Kevin King in the first quarter. Nevertheless, they did not do anything in terms of trying to pressure Bo Nix. They sent 4 or fewer pass rushers on 89% of his dropbacks. And when they did not blitz, Bo Nix was 25 for 29 for 301 yards and 3 touchdowns. He might as well have been sitting in a recliner with a newspaper and a cup of coffee. He was that comfortable against the Falcons defense all day.
We'll see what happens with the Falcons next. They host the Chargers on December 1st, but let's get back to those Broncos, Marcus. On the other side, how important is it for this rookie quarterback to have that kind of defense that they have in Denver?
Graz, you know who did send blitzes to light up Kirk Cousins? It was the Denver Broncos, and they stayed in the same vein. Yep. Benito is starting to turn into an absolute superstar. I've been obviously eye-catching on his tape, had 2 sacks. We saw the pressure that they were able to generate on Kirk Cousins. Look, holding any team to 6 points is phenomenal, but we've seen the Atlanta Falcons have the ability to be explosive. Mooney is having one of his best seasons. We know that you have a lot of weapons on that football team. And me and Dan talked about the Denver Broncos defense before they played the Baltimore Ravens, and I was like, just pump the brakes. And obviously that didn't turn out the way they wanted it to. But I give a lot of credence to what they were able to do to Kirk Cousins in this offense, who I think at times can be very, very explosive, like we've seen them be throughout this season. Denver is for real. It's a complementary football team. They create takeaways, they create negative yardage, and they're giving a rookie opportunities with possessions and great field position to make plays. So that's another team, like Dan said